I don't think I really listen to music when I do. Well, howdy YouTube family. It is Bolt CRNA coming to you from a different location at the kitchen today, so a little bit different for you. Switching it up the locations a little bit, getting a little natural lighting here. But today's topic, we're gonna be talking about romance in CRNA school. I asked you on Instagram to ask me all of your questions about what you wanna know about dating, love life, that kind of stuff in CRNA school. So we're gonna talk about the juicy details today. Can you have a girlfriend in CRNA school or boyfriend, whatever you want? So yes, of course, you can have one. It's not against the rules. Now, if you're asking me how easy it is to have that relationship, that's a different question. You're gonna be very busy. I mean, with anything you're doing in life that's gonna require a lot of your time and attention, it's gonna be hard with your interpersonal relationship. Imagine whatever relationship you're in currently, if any at all, and think about if you were tied up with about 70 hours a week of things that you were doing outside of them that's completely unrelated to them, that they really can't be very much involved in. That's gonna be how you're gonna navigate relationships in CRNA school. So if you can do that effectively, still maintain good relationships and connections, that's great. You're gonna have to find another person, a partner who's down for you being busy that much of your week and not really having time for them and kind of being married to a whole different thing other than them for about 3 years. Another one of you guys asked, is there a strain on relationships with, especially if you're living with somebody like a partner or anybody that you're living with when you're in the program? There were definitely people in my program who were living with spouses or significant others during the program. Is there a strain on it? I wasn't personally living with anybody, so I can't tell you 100% from my own perspective, but from my friends that were in relationships, and I did, hear the venting phone calls and deal with the emotional situations and stuff that they dealt with over 3 years. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard. You're talking about someone who is probably used to having a partner that's there for them pretty frequently and oftentimes around, and then suddenly for a pretty large chunk of time, you're not gonna be really much around. Or if you are around, you're gonna be stressed, distracted, you're going to be focusing on something other than them. They're gonna wanna watch Netflix and you're gonna be telling them, no, I can't watch Netflix. I have to go into the office and go study. And maybe you're irritated too and you tell them, keep it down out here and I don't want you watching Netflix either without headphones in. So yeah, I mean, you can imagine those kind of things start to wear on a relationship over time. And there were definitely, not to scare you, but there were some divorces in the program. And I'm not saying that you're gonna take a perfect relationship and ruin it with CRNA school. Obviously, these people who divorced were already having trouble beforehand. But I can promise you that if you're having trouble with a spouse or someone you're living with before you start the program will bring out everything that you didn't like about them and problems you had in your relationship by like tenfold. And it's just gonna accelerate the process. So I just try and warn people, like if you have confused relationships or distracted, unhealthy things going on in your life with interpersonal relationships, take care of that, seal the deal, shut it down before you begin the program, because it's just gonna blow up in your face and potentially cause you to fail the program in the process while you're dealing with the crumbling issues of this failing marriage or this other issue that you're dealing with relationship-wise. It's just not worth it. Focus on that one thing, get it taken care of, nipped in the bud, then start the program. Another one of you guys asked, can I be the spaghetti to your meatball? And to that, I say, I actually don't know if I'd rather be the spaghetti or the meatball in that equation. I'm gonna have to think on that a little bit more. What's my favorite quality in a romantic partner? Probably independence. Probably ambition, independence, some word that means those things. That's important to me. That's definitely who I am, and that's who I would expect anyone who would partner with me and be running this life race alongside of me. I would not expect to need to have to pull them along behind me, supporting them and forcing them to be the person that they want to be or should be. I would expect that person naturally has the innate ability to want to be those things and going to go do those things and be those things, whether they're with me or by themselves or anything else. They're determined to be the best version of themselves they can be. And yeah, I don't want to be anybody's parent. I don't know. There's some people out there who truly choose to be like hook up with some girl and become her father for the rest of their relationship, or a woman who hooks up with some man and becomes his mother for the rest of their relationship. And that's really creepy to me. I don't like that at all. How do you find time to date when you're in training? I don't know. I really didn't find much time. I essentially dated one girl through the whole program, and it was only like probably 4 months that we were together. There wasn't much time. And even that little bit of time, we only got along because she was a resident physician who also had no time. So we both understood that we had about 3 or 4 hours, one evening a week that we could spare with each other of free time. And outside of that, there really wasn't much other time. So other people who dated, there wasn't a lot of successful dating going on in the program. There were people who were already married when they started the program, that either stayed married, hopefully, or didn't. And then there were a couple other people like myself who went on some dates and things, but I really didn't see maybe 1 or 2 people who started dating somebody in the program and then continued to successfully date them after we graduated and like long-term relationship happened, because really you just don't have much time. You really will be very busy. Time is going to be against you. How did married couples and people with families react during the program? Classmates that actually had kids, they were married and then they ended up having children during the program throughout the 3-year process. And there were some other people who already had kids when we started. How did they deal with it? Stressed, of course. I actually have a YouTube video dating back about 3 years ago, probably now. CRNA student who was a year behind me, who actually had 4 kids, married with 4 kids, and was in the program. He was a second year when I was a third year when I filmed that video. Yeah, stressful. He talks in depth about the process and what it was like. Is it possible? Of course. People do it all the time. I mean, plenty of people graduate CRNA school who have kids or who are married. It definitely happens. But you're going to deal with a lot of fights. You're going to deal with a lot of stress. There's just going to be an added layer of things you are going to have to navigate and deal with in your life that you wouldn't have had to deal with if you were single and able to just selfishly focus on yourself. Someone else asked, were you in a relationship when you were in the program? Really just that one that I mentioned earlier. I'm not a big dater anyway, so maybe I'm not the best litmus test for that kind of thing. I've had girlfriends and dated throughout my life, but I'm definitely not somebody who always wants to be in a relationship, and I actually kind of enjoy being single, especially as I get a little older and have more disposable income and get to hang out with more friends, and I also just know who I am more and understand what's important to me and understand my free time and what I like to do is more important to me than another relationship that most likely won't end in a marriage or won't end in a long-term relationship. And so that helped me in CRNA school, because you definitely are going to be single a lot of the time, whether you like it or not. Has a nurse asked you out when you were on rotations? I mean, no, not really. I mean, I didn't have anybody specifically say like, hey, would you go out with me, and me say no or yes or anything. Were there times that I was flirtatious or someone else was flirtatious with me during rotations? Of course. And there were those moments in people that you knew that you thought, if I wasn't busy right now or whatever, this could maybe go somewhere. But in reality, most of the time in clinical rotations, your sympathetic nervous system and your stress level is cranked up to 11, and you're not really so much focused on flirting and romance throughout that time. You're more focused on the fact that you could get yelled at again, or that you could miss an airway, or that you might grab the wrong drug, or you're not prepared, or the surgeon, is going to get upset, or something's going to be wrong, and you're going to get a letter written to your program director from the clinical site. There's a high level of stress that you're under when you're on rotations. Not a whole lot of romance time. It's funny how when you're in that kind of mindset, romance and love and flirtation and stuff is totally off the table. And plus, in clinicals, you're terrified that you're going to be told you're behaving unprofessionally or inappropriately, and if you get reported for anything like that, which can definitely happen, people are always watching you and people will report you for inappropriate actions or behaviors. If that gets back to your program, that you're, instead of focusing on your studies or what you should be doing at the hospital, if you're focusing on romance or flirting or going to a call room with someone or something like that, you could be in deep hot water with your program and could end up in you not graduating. I just didn't even play around with that stuff. Does being a male nurse and then being a male CRNA make you more popular with the ladies? I don't know. The thing is, being a male nurse is very different from being a male CRNA. And the reason why is because as a male nurse, it's like 90% women and 10% men. So you are greatly outnumbered by the ratio of men and women around you when you're an RN or an LPN or whatever, when you're working as a nurse. There is a huge disparity between males and females, and you're extremely highlighted as a male because you're unique and you're special and all these things. Well, when you switch into the anesthesia role and you start training as a CRNA, you realize, oh shoot, half of us are male and half of us are female. It's totally like a completely different career field. You're not special because you're male. It's not odd that you're a male. Most of the people around you in the anesthesia world, because you're also mixed in with physician anesthesiologists too, and probably half of them are at least male too. So everybody is just like, oh, who cares if you're male or female? You know, it's the same as most other jobs. So no, as a CRNA, being male does not help you get girls. I would say you will have people who are interested in your salary who will come seek you out potentially, but those are not the kind of people you want to be hanging with. And the last question someone wants to know is, what was my romance song in CRNA school? And I don't think I had one. Am I weird to not be somebody who has like a romance playlist or like a making love playlist or something? I don't really have that. I don't think I really listen to music when I do. Does other people always listen to music? Is it like a playlist somebody turns on? So maybe you guys do. And if you do, I want to hear down below what your making love song or playlist is, because maybe I need to download a playlist or something and start getting into it. Well, all right, guys, that was all your questions answered. I hope they were juicy enough for you. I hope you find love and romance when you're in your 3 years of training. And if you don't sweat it. You will graduate. You will eventually get out there in the world, and it will be a pandemic and you can't date anyway. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscription button, guys. I'm back every week, once a week, with one of these videos. Also hit the like button. It helps out the YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate it. If you're looking to get into CRNA school, you can join the CRNA Circle over on Patreon, or you can join the memberships here on my YouTube page, where I offer the 26-page study guide. I offer one-on-one live chats with you guys once a month and some other behind-the-scenes videos. And follow me over on Instagram and TikTok if you want more content, more than these weekly videos. I talk about stuff all the time on Instagram, daily pretty much. I'm very active over there, and TikTok pretty frequent too. So hope to see you guys over there. Until next week, that's Bolt Out.